Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today, episode number 4 of the Uber Pinnacle boss project, and on today's hunting list is 100 Uber Cortex. And you get those Uber bosses, with your Atlas tree here, scaling all the big ones here, which makes all the bosses like Uber versions. And today we're going to take a look at the Memento Mori keystone, which is the Uber Cortex. And that one also drops 3 additional rare items with 3 less common synthesized implicit modifiers. But there is one difference on Uber Cortex, which the other bosses do not have, and this is the mapping aspect. So all of the other Uber bosses, like a boss arena, and you just kill the Uber boss, and that's about it. But the Uber Cortex is actually a map, which also has a lot of additional loot. So in one hand, you could say, hey, we're just gonna run through, kill the Uber boss, and put in the next one. Or since this is like a project, and I want to see how much currency you can make with those kind of like Uber bosses, we're gonna do it the actual way. So we're gonna clear the entire map and do the Uber boss. So that's gonna be a lot more time effort. But honestly, if you pay like 1.5 divines for an Uber Cortex, you're probably gonna do the map on top of that, because there is a lot of valuable bases that you can have. So let's take a look at the write down. 100 Uber Cortexes going for 1.5 divines a piece. So that's about wait, this is what is the plural of Cortex? Cortexes. Let's do 100 maps. Okay, maps. Okay, that it is, because I don't know if Cortexes is an actual word. So 150 divine. There is the common base loot of the Cortex, which is the Bottled Faith, the Nebulous, the Garb of the Ephemeral something, and the beautiful Gloves that sell for a C, which is the offering to the Serpent. The Bottled Faith at this time of the league, it's always depending on when you're going to do those bosses. We have now league day number 43, so we're 1.5 months into the league. And a Bottled Faith currently goes for 1.9 divines. Obviously, the better rolls sell for more, but this is the common, if you have bad rolls or any Bottled Faith, it's about 1.9 divines. Obviously, I cannot do every single loot in here. This was just before the project. This is the list that I made. But once we're doing those, I think there is also a Cortex Relic Key or something like that that might drop on the Uber version, because all of the other bosses do have that. So I guess there is one for the Uber version as well. I don't know if there is one, or maybe because it's hard to find, because the wiki page usually always have the drop tables, but the Cortex wiki page article does not have one. So I just put this out of my head. So I guess there is a reliquary key that we're gonna put on top, and then we obviously gonna get a lot of other stuff that drops in the Cortex map. So I prepared here all of my special tabs over here with the affinity. So everything that we're gonna get, we're gonna put in there, as well as having 2 quad tabs with 50C buyout price. This is what I usually do while mapping here as well. This is some from previous mapping. Usually I just put them in for 50C and I throw everything in. If I get spammed for an item, I'm gonna check the item. If not, the next day 40C, the next day 30C, 20C, 10C, and after that, if they don't sell for 10C and they've been online for an entire day, I'm just gonna vendor everything, and that's about it. But obviously, as I said, there is a lot more to do than just for example, an Uber Exarch, where you go in, kill the Exarch, get your 1 or 2 pieces of loot, which one would be the boots, for example. Wait, the Exarch is more like shield and staff. So it's gonna be a lot more. So I'm gonna price check everything as good as I can, try to run the map, and on top of that, you cannot roll the Cortex map. They drop, or at least they have random modifiers, can up 3 to 5 additional random modifiers, as well as 4 to 6 additional synthesized modifiers. So some of them gonna be very good rolled. So I think it was just a 5 and 6, for example, which is pretty. This is actually a max roll map. So maybe we can run this one as our showcase. And obviously some are worse rolled, but honestly, when you buy that many Cortexes, they all sell for 1.5, because usually nobody cares about the actual rolls. But the more rolls, the better the loot can be. But then it's there is a complete list of what these additional random modifiers can be, as well as these synthesized global modifiers can be. So there's a 4-4 map or a 3-4 map can have better modifiers than one that has 5 to 6, right? So it's complete RNG in that case. And I think we're just gonna pop in the first one and see how this one goes. For the map showcase itself, I'm probably gonna just rush through and kill the boss, and then afterwards because I don't want to drag the video too long, right? So basically, we're just gonna run down. Let's check the modifiers real quick. Playing here my armor stacker. And quickly clear up a few here so we can actually check the mod speed out, kind of like randomly dying or something like that. So we have, this is like the usual thing, right? 100% increased experience gain is on every Cortex, I think, or Uber Cortex. Monster level 85 always showcases that this is the Uber version, because the other version is like 84 or 83 or something. So we get Physics Extra Lightning, 100% chance for synthesized rare packs to have additional rare monsters. Then we have monsters take 70% less damage, is also another indicator for the Uber boss. They have power charge and hit, 50 chaos res, 80 all res, avoid poison, impale, bleed, higher map drop chance, increased experience gain, breach splinters, 1000% increased quantity of rare monsters, something. Yeah, it's like all kind of like weird things, but it's actually a 250% quant 84 rarity Cortex over here. But they can roll with like a freak ton of more monster life, double, triple, quadra, turbo. Like the modifiers can get very, very nasty on this part. So let me keep this open. As I said, I'm just gonna run through the middle. I think this works as a map showcase, so you see that I'm actually able to do the map. But obviously, if you drop a ring with like +1 power charge, +1 frenzy or something like that, you can make a lot of currency, right? So, all right, here's the boss. Always the safety portal, not the... Oh, I don't have one. Okay, then we're just gonna do it deathless. No problem. Easy build, man. Actually, I always have, like, some portal scrolls in there. Probably gonna find one at some point. So, as I said, here on the right side, the modifiers. This is a 5-stage boss, right? With double boss into minions into double boss something. Let's see, damage looks good. Oh, yeah, and on the Uber version, you're always twice. So, it's like... double boss into maps into double boss, something like that. But yeah, we have like a pretty nasty amount of damage on this build, so I'm not too worried about not being able to do the Cortex. But hey, maybe there are some nasty modifiers. I don't know if Cortex can run like, or roll with like Reflect. I don't think so. Because there are some modifiers that can literally disable your build. For example, like, hey, you play like some Ellie build and there is like Ellie Reflect, or players cannot regen and stuff like that. I don't think that these mobs or these map modifiers are there. I might be wrong. We're gonna find out in the upcoming Cortexes. And if there is really these modifiers and I cannot do the map because of the modifiers, then I'll probably just replace this one Cortex with another one to maintain having those like 100 Uber bosses, right? Good. That was like the 3rd time double boss, and now we have the last time double boss with the synthesized nightmare and stuff, and that was the Uber Cortex boss. I mean, based on your build, can be harder, can be easier, and let's see the drops. I think the only Uber drop that is worth something is this like Doctrine kind of thingy. I don't know even what this thing is doing, but I think it's a jewel, but I never used it, so... Okay, we got gloves and 3 rings, or at least like 3 items with the synthesized implicit, with less common ones, which is basically indicated by the Memento Mori keystone here. 3 additional rare items. They can drop with a lot of good stuff, but they can also drop with a lot of bad stuff. I'm not too worried about all these kind of things. And yeah, let's hope that I'm gonna find a portal scroll somewhere, wisdom scroll, and yeah, just gonna run all these maps, 99.6 maps to go, since I still count in that the mapping clearing will take longer than the boss itself. And then we're gonna see us again with the results of 100 Uber Cortexes. Alright, I'm done with running 100 Cortex maps, Cortexes, whatever you want to call it in the plural. And, yo, that took a lot longer than the other Uber bosses. I mean, since I was running the entire map, I think my average mapping time was like, I would say around about 5 minutes, because some maps do have a lot more loot than the others, you know, based on your loot filter. But there has been maps where it took me like 7 minutes to collect everything, because there was so much loot. And other maps took me like 3 minutes. So I would say the average is about 5 minutes based on your build. You know, if you don't have as much DPS as I have, you're probably going to take longer for the boss, or maybe you're going to add a minute or something like that. Blah, blah, blah. Doesn't really matter. We are here to check the outcome of 100 Uber Cortexes. And, Yeah, I think we're gonna start here with this one, and this is the current like state of the art. I've ran 100 of these, 150 divines investment. We got 14 bottled faces over here, while one actually we need to do 13 over here. One was actually really good rolled, which is this one over here with a 10% increased damage and 149 crit. That should sell somewhere around like 10 divines, maybe 12 divines. The rest is basically trash. I think I had a second one with like a 10% roll, but it was like 110% increased crit or something. So, you know, if it's not really good rolled, they all sell the same, you know. If you want to buy a Bottled Faith for like 2 divines or whatever it is worth for the straight up Bottled Faith, you know, you can get like some very good rolled ones for also 2 divines, right? But for the really good rolled ones, we can definitely put in some extra. I price checked this one here for 10 divines. We got 37 Nebuluses. And, yeah, none of that is actually good. No Explodey, no spells deal double damage, no nothing. We had a bunch, but nothing anything. When it comes to the Garb, we had 9 pieces in total, while 8 are here. And I think 1 is going to sell for a bit more, which is this one over here. Because it has Animated Guardian, Res, and item drops on death. I don't know if this is going to be more valuable than the others. This is not counted in, okay? This is still priced for 45 because just because I think it will sell more doesn't mean it will sell for more, because it has been on the trade since like 2-3 days and nobody ever whispered me for it. So might be just me being like, hey, that looks good, but it's actually not, right? But you never know, could sell. I still price checked it in here with a 45C. If it sells for Divine, hey, that's another like 200 chaos extra, but you're gonna see later why it will not really matter too much. And we got 39 offerings of the Serpent, which are the beautiful gloves here, and nah, they're actually not beautiful. They're actually garbage. I think there's like 1 or 2 implicits that might make it more valuable, but they have been rotting in my quad tabs forever, the past like 3 days or so, and none, like not a single pair sold. So when it comes to the loot, so I have here, I think 9, in total 10 quad tabs, full of loot, right? This could be anything that my loot filter shows. Either like some 100% base percentiles, item level 86, a bunch of like veiled modifiers, some good bases, a lot of like this triple implicit modifiers that dropped from the Cortex. And it is like all kinds of things, you know. It's just like, I really get some simulacrum vibes when it comes to that. And the way I would further approach this, because initially the plan was to be like, you know what, I'm gonna do the next Uber boss project, and tomorrow I'm gonna set the 100 chaos to 75, and then the next day I put it to 50, and the next day on 25, and then probably to 10C, and then I call it a day, and then I record the second part of the video, right? That's why the quad tabs are on the 100 chaos, because, you know, if you put in something that you just didn't see, and it's like a really good rolled base and something like that, or a nice implicit or whatever, they're gonna spam you, you're gonna sell that, the rest is just rotting there, and you just make it cheaper every single day and get more and more currency over time. And actually, just from these like 3 days of having those things online for 100 chaos, I think I sold quite a bunch. If you go to the special tabs, I have like 1,700 chaos over here. So obviously I did not pick up 1,700 chaos, it was just like a bunch of these like items that sold for 100 chaos, and like, you know, it just like, it's quad tab things, you know? You just have it in there. If somebody wants to buy something, you're gonna sell it, and if not, then not. And then at some point, you're just gonna vendor that. So, coming to the Uber loot, we have 1 Forgotten Reliquary Key, so they do exist. That was the one point I wasn't too sure, so Cortex does have its own key. We had 1 of those. And one thing I still want to mention, because in part 1, before random maps, I was pretty sure that we're gonna drop synthesized items. This is a lie, okay? Uber Cortex or Cortex does not drop synthesized items anymore. It was the case a couple leaks ago, probably when the last time I was Cortex. That's why I still had this in my mindset. But I think they just replaced it with that Cortex is just dropping 3 rare items with 3 less common synthesized implicit that could be exploded. It could be, I don't know, +1 to aura skills or whatever, you know? So this thing is like, yo, let's do the map, because we can get like a +1 power charge ring or something like that, is not gonna happen. Either way, I would say let's open quickly the Forgotten Reliquary Key, because there is one thing that kind of makes me sad. We did not drop a single Rational Doctrine jewel, which is the jewel that drops from the Uber Cortex, what is currently worth about 24, 25 divines. Not a single one in 100 runs. So I guess the drop chance is probably similar to like on Omniscience or Ashes or these like 2% drops, maybe like Progenesis, or maybe we get it over here. Oh, a new pair of gloves. Awesome. And it has Lightning Rest, Fire Rest, and chance to avoid being stunned. Yeah. That's kind of sad. Maybe I was unlucky. I mean, I have to be unlucky. You kind of tell me I ran 100 Uber Cortex and don't even see the jewel once, so I guess I was unlucky. But it could also mean that the drop chance is like even less common than the Omniscience or something like that, right? But yeah, this Forgotten Relic Key went for 2.5 Divines. We just turned 2.5 Divines into like 1 Chaos, or maybe 2 Chaos if somebody's willing to pay for extra for shit implicits, but fancy gloves, I'd say. So, when it comes to, is it worth picking up or running the entire map? I would say yes, it is. Because you're still gonna get a lot of stuff. If we're gonna check here my special tabs, all of the currency here is from what stuff I picked up. And yes, I did pick up 2,406 chisels because they drop singular. And we also get a lot of like, you know, sometimes the map roll with like Beyond, you get like tainted currency. And that's why I say I get like Simulacrum vibes over here, right? Fragments, the usual stuff. These are all like, that means I picked up 394 Xof Splinters, 362 Tool Splinters, so there is still quite some currency just randomly there. I mean, all these like invitations, they're dropping from Cortex, right? But they are like 10 chaos a piece with the Feared. The Elder Slayers go for like half a Divine, but we only had 2 of those. So nothing too fancy. A bunch of like random divination cards that we could probably turn into a Mage Blood. Yo, give me a second. What if Cortex is no, this is not good. This is not good. No, this is not good. That is not good either. And no, that is trash. Maybe we get, wait. What if we get like some Divine Erroneous out of the, or what, can you actually get 5 mirrors out of that? It's not a, it's double transmutes, chromatics, whetstones, armor scrap, more transmutes, and this is something else. Okay, did not happen either, will not save the gamble overall. A couple of essences, you know, fossils did drop quite a lot. Then we have Blight nothing, Delay nothing, Metamorph nothing, and maps I price checked separately. So you get quite a bit of stuff. I would say like, maybe like a 20 to 30 divines of random stuff that is dropping, right? And overall, with my current price checkings, we made about 75 divines out of the 100 Uber Cortexes while spending 150. Which means I lost basically half the currency while spending about, I would say, 10 hours roughly to do all these Cortexes, which kinda is really bad. And the reason why I wanted to do this video like 3 days later or something, or in like 4 days, the second part at least, so I can sell stuff out of my quad tab to maybe save it, right? But thinking about, I need to get like 75 divines out of my quad tabs, this is not gonna happen. I do still have a couple of really valuable items, like things that have like a better implicit. For example, this helmet over here that I currently priced for 30 divines, which has aura effect and rarity on an ES base. These will probably sell for like, could sell like in the next 10 minutes for 30 divines, could sell tomorrow for 25, or in 3-4 days for like 20 divines. It's surely going to sell because just having aura effect on any base is like 8 or 9 divines starting price, and being on an ES base and stuff like that might make it more valuable. Some other things with Frostbite and Conversion. There's 1 max Chaos Res, I don't know, like dot multi-implicit. So a couple of things here where I consider, okay, the implicits make sense. They maybe sell for a little bit more, but the big winner ticket would actually be selling the helmet. So if we assume we sell this helmet right now for 30 divines, I still need to make like 44 divines out of my quad tabs, you know, and this is not gonna happen. So either way, I would say Cortex 100% not worth it to run. Even if I would say I found one of the amulets, at least from the super rare jewel here, and this helm sells for 30 divines, I still negative, okay? I still need to do tons of trades out of my quad tabs and so on and so forth. So I think the only valuable way, and this is something I personally did not test, but I assume the only way of making profit with Cortex would be the rotation with the Feared, right? So we go for fragments. Like if you do Feared, so you go run a Cortex, a Chayular, a Shaper, and or at least an Uber Elder, and Alluring Abyss. I think it was Uber at Siri, right? If you do this in a rotation, then do the feared, and then put in the next Cortex, and you do it like that, I think if that makes profit, this should be the way. But just running pure Uber Cortexes, you know, I mean, I was unlucky, but even if I say, hey, I dropped one of these and I found the base with our effect, which is super rare, I'm still not making profit, right? And this is kind of terrible, so I personally would say this is by far the worst of the Uber bosses that I've done so far. But there is still like 3 more to go. So we have Saurus to do, we have Uber Shaper to do, and Uber Elder. Those are the 3 that are missing. Maybe this is gonna change my mind. Maybe I'm gonna do like one finalized video where I just make a tier list of the Uber bosses and how good they are and profitable and whatnot. We're gonna see about that. But I can already tell you, Cortex is somewhere on the bottom side of the list. Good. I hope this guide, or at least this video, was kind of like informative. If you are wondering yourself, hey, should I do 1,000 Uber Cortexes? Good luck. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you on the next video.